Hey guys, welcome to yet another amazing episode of Conversations with Moyo. And in this episode, I visited the NUBAN beauty store and I met Mrs. Stella Ndekile, who is the CEO of NUBAN Beauty. So NUBAN Beauty is a premium Nigerian makeup brand that offers a range of high quality makeup products for African women. I think one thing that stands out the most with this brand is how they've been able to infuse inclusivity. I mean, they have foundations for every skin tone. Like, that's really amazing. And some of their products include their In My Skin foundation, beauty blenders, makeup primers, setting powder, lipsticks, lip liners, eyeshadow palettes, amongst others. Mrs. Stella Ndekile is one of the most hardworking women I know, and she's so inspiring. After NUBAN Beauty, she has gone on to create other brands, which include the Lion brand, which is a perfume brand. And I spoke with her today on her journey. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed creating it. My name is Moyo, and this is Conversations with Moyo. Okay, so guys, I'm here with the CEO of NUBAN Beauty, and I'm very excited and privileged to have her here. Miss Stella, how are you today?
I'm good, Moya. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. You look so beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's take it all the way back. I want to get to know more about you, all the way, how were you growing up? How was growing up like for you?
Growing up, I was the first child of 8 children.
Wow.
Yeah, 7 girls and a boy. So I've always been surrounded with women. So I guess that's why most of my business have to do with women. Living with 6 girls. So there's no kind of women problem we've not seen. So I think somehow I just made it a mission in life to solve women's problem.
That's so nice. So let's talk about the brand NUBAN Beauty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one brand that, it's a very luxury brand, but at the same time, you have been able to provide affordable luxury and beautiful makeup products for women. So I was going through, I was doing my research and I found that you studied medical lab science.
Yes.
And you were also a civil servant before you started your business. So why did you decide to start a makeup business? So give us a background story.
Okay, just like when you asked me my background, I came from a background of a lot of women, and having seen different problems, and I've always loved beauty. I've always had these issues of getting products that were my color. So back in school, I used to have a friend whose fiance was in Australia. So they bring in all them nice Avon products, beautiful products. And it dawned on me that, why don't we have something like that? So that was back in school. And when I finished school, just like you said, I read medical lab science, finished school, but I've always loved beauty. And that's how I started dabbling in makeup application. A problem that I have seen, and I felt like, why don't we have this? And I left it at that. Then I started makeup application and I realized, this problem is still here. How am I rubbing foundation on people and it's not their color? Why is nobody fixing this? And that was how NUBAN Beauty was.
Wow. So when did you officially start?
Okay. So the story behind that is, so I've been selling makeup and I also apply. So when the beauty blending sponge came out, it became a thing in the industry. So usually you used to have this wedge, we call it wedge back in those days, that it's in a big, it's big and cut out. So you use on a client and you dispose, and you cut again, use on a client and you dispose. Then the beauty blender became a thing, it was a brand, it came out, and I think this was around 2015-ish, 14, 15-ish. And because I retail products, people were asking, don't you sell the beauty blender? And back in those days, I had to, I'm talking of 2015, I wanted to buy the beauty blender and it was 7,500 naira in 2015. Then I eventually saw a brand that wasn't the beauty blender that had a good blending sponge, and they sold for 5,000 naira in 2015. Haba. Why? That's a lot. And I'm like, why? I just told myself, because people were demanding, the people who I sell products were asking me for this thing. So that was how the first product NUBAN Beauty had was the beauty blending sponge. Yes, so that was why I started with that one. And guess what? That gave birth to the rest of the products.
Wow, that's such an amazing story. So from what I've been able to pick from what you said, business for you is solving a problem.
All the time.
Amazing. So I also came across one of your posts where you said that the first business that you started failed. So you want to tell us more about the first business that you started?
Okay, so I said I was a makeup artist. That wasn't the one that failed. It was the retail part.
Okay.
So I was a makeup artist and I was also selling products. So this beauty blender story started with that brand. Right, so the name of that one was Stella Makeovers. I think you can still find me on Facebook if you look well. That one was named Stella Makeovers. So when I decided to solve the problem, I started it under the name Stella Makeovers. So now I was trying to do multiple business and do my own business while I was a civil servant. I was working in University of Lagos. Not finding the niche, trying to do everything at the same time was the reason why it failed. Yes, I wanted to solve a problem. So now I wanted to start a brand. I was also retailing other brands. I was also a makeup artist. And I was also a practicing lab scientist.
So you were doing so many things at the same time.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, but after the failure of the first business, you went on to create NUBAN Beauty, and then I don't even know how many businesses you have. Like I was just trying to look through and I was like, how many businesses do you even have?
So for the NUBAN Beauty, so what happened was, it's always good to recollect. If something happens, if there's a bad thing that happens, always go back and ask yourself what went wrong. So I was able to sit down and figure out that what went wrong was I was doing everything at the same time. Then what went right? The beauty blenders were selling very well. So I had to kill the rest. Well, I couldn't stop being a civil servant at that time, but I had to stop every other thing and focus on that one which was doing well. At the moment I moved my energy to it, it scaled faster than I ever would. I only worked in University of Lagos for 3 years and I resigned.
So with all these businesses that you have right now, I know that apart from being a business owner, you are also someone who is very, very particular about learning more, because I've been seeing that you're always going to get more professional courses, you're going to learn more. So how are you able to, what are the structures that you are able to put in place to ensure that even when you're not there, your business is running smoothly?
If you're doing a business that doesn't have structure, you won't be able, because what it means is that you have to always be there for it to survive. And when you talk of structure, it's such a big conversation, but it starts with employing the right people, showing them the vision and making sure they're in the same vision with you. They're seeing where you're going and they know how to drive it. That's the only way you can go do what you want to do, because first of all you have the right people. So you find an accountant. Don't bring someone that doesn't know numbers because you're scraping on money. You want a retail end person, even if let's say you're bootstrapping, right? Train them. So what is usually the problem most businesses have is thinking they usually don't want to let go of control. That's usually the biggest problem. The organ want to be in everything that is done. You want to say everything. That way the business cannot grow. But being able to get people, at least when you're bootstrapping, you can say maybe I cannot afford to employ professionals, but get people who are willing to learn, people who sees the vision like you do, train them. And when you're training, also because training is it's like writing, going to school and writing an exam. Train them and pull back and see them do what you've trained them. If after training them you're still looking over their shoulders, they will not do it. So train them and pull back and watch. And in a matter of time, you see that you can leave them to do these things. And one thing I always say, please, when they do well, praise them. Let them understand they've grown. Tell them how far they've come. Let them see it. So in that way, you can pull back and say, I travel. Like you said, I do courses, I travel a lot and all that. But the business is fine. Because we have the right people doing the right things. And seeing the same vision and mission the brand has. And we're all pushing it together.
All right, thank you so much for that. And when you were speaking now, you talked about like the problems that business owners have. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that. Like, what do you think are the mistakes that a lot of business owners today make, in business?
We want to talk about mistakes. We don't have today. So first mistake, is side hustle is the thing. Everybody wants to do side hustle. Decide to have a business. Everybody wants to have a business. Like I always say, what problem are you solving? Most businesses are not started because they're solving problems. They're started because the person wants money. And that's why they die. And the notion that side hustle, passive income, there is nothing passive about it. You must work. It will get passive later on when it has gained traction. You can actually pull back. That's when the business happens. But you see, that's passive, that side hustle, it's not passive, it never works. In fact, that's the one I see the most. So everybody feels they can do business because they say business is a thing. But the thing is, what problem are you solving? Don't start business because you saw someone did it and you think, you see, this hair business, my hair, you will go there, you will fail. Next, makeup, everybody's opening a beauty brand. You don't want to know how many brands have come out and how many brands have died. What problem are you solving?
I'm getting so much knowledge from everything that we've spoken about. So, like, some of the things I've heard is like running a business in Nigeria is very, very challenging. So what are some of the challenges that you have as a business owner in Nigeria?
I'll say the people. So NUBAN Beauty is 7 years going. And one of the things I'm so grateful for is having the right staff. I have the best people on my team. But I've also seen businesses that the problem is the people. So I've had staff that I had to lay off. Imagine meeting those kind of people over and over and over and over again. It's not that the problem, it's not that the business is not solving a problem. It's probably that the people there are not ready to see the people you've employed are the problem. So when we say we want Nigeria to be great, I think it has to start with us individually. When you are employed to do a business for someone or as a staff to a business, can you give it your all? Because the truth is, one way or the other, tomorrow you might start yours. And I say this because I know I can beat my chest and tell you that while I was a civil servant, everywhere I worked, every single place I worked, I gave it my all. It was 1,000% everywhere. And that's the same way I come into, I do my own business. So you can ask my staff, most times I'm the first person to come to work every day. I came to work by 7:30 today. So it's a people thing. So if you, as a person, will not take your business serious, how do you think your staff will take it serious? So I've had someone tell me, I'm starting this business because they said, if I employ this person, he'll bring you 1 million. If I employ the other person, he'll bring you 1 million. And I said, sorry, how are they supposed to do that? No, that's what it's obtainable. How? What are they supposed to do to bring in that 1 million? So I think our main problem is the people. So if I go from the staff, I go to agencies that their main aim is to, when I say their aim is to stifle businesses, but you're opening your shop today, immediately you open it, someone is showing up. The funny part is, it could be legit and it could be illegit. So you have different people coming under the same agency. So how do we know who is who? So I think the most issue is the people. You want to clear your goods and drama is happening there. The people. I feel like everything is about the people. If just we can change our mindset, the orientation and everything. When we say that the government is not, that the, what's it called, the rules are not so conducive for small businesses. Like, for example, you don't get, maybe now it's beginning to change, but when we started, you didn't get to get loans and stuff so easily. So right now there is this, every bank is supporting women, so there are grants, but when we started, it wasn't there. And at the end of the day, again, it's still people. So for me, if you ask me what the biggest problem is.
Okay, so now I want us to talk about social media. Because social media is like where I found out about you, and a lot of like, I watch YouTube a lot, and a lot of like influencers, a lot of YouTubers, they are always talking about your products and how good your product is and everything. So what impact has social media played in the growth of your business?
I don't know, if there was no social media, would there be NUBAN Beauty? NUBAN Beauty is a business I started with my personal funds. There was no investor, there was nothing. So when you're bootstrapping a business, you look for the most cost-effective ways to do things. So NUBAN Beauty started in 2015, way before COVID. I didn't have money to go to billboard. I didn't have money to go to television. I didn't have money to do radio. But what did I have? I had Facebook. I had Instagram. Actually, NUBAN Beauty grew on Instagram. So what did I do? I went to learn how to use Instagram to market my business. Learned how to use Facebook to market my business. And I gave it everything I had. And I would say social media right now will make or kill your business. So you must learn how to use it.
So every business owner out there, make sure that you learn how to use it. Because now there's a lot of like business owners everywhere, you know, always posting and everything. But now it's looking like everybody's now like towing the same line when it comes to like content creation. So, and everybody's doing this like entertaining content, trying to like market their business. So do you think that there's a line between trying to create entertaining content for your business and then trying to be a comedian? Do you think that there's anything like that?
Okay, so first of all, people are not on social media to buy things. They are on social media to have fun. Just remember that. Most people, we come on social media to relieve our stress. We come on social media to have fun. And if you're so serious, most of us will swipe us. So another thing is, you have to realize, what does your business stand for? What platform are you showing up on? And marry the two. You can't be on TikTok and post like you're on Facebook. You will get zero engagement. You have to understand every platform and what that platform is asking you for. Right? Just like for YouTube, the orientation for posting on YouTube, so you do landscape, right?
Yes.
On Instagram, have you seen we're moving towards portrait, and you get, so you need to understand what a particular platform is asking you for. So the thing with the comedian thing you said is this. So people have realized that if it's fun, people interact. So, but there is a thin line between being a comedian and being a business owner. Because why are we watching you? Are we watching you so we can laugh? Or we are watching you so we understand what you sell and how what you're selling benefits my life? So if what you're doing is to make me laugh, I'll only laugh and I will not buy anything. But if after laughing I'm like, oh, nice, I didn't know I could do this like this. I didn't know this service is there. So you have to be able to marry what the business is doing and how the business wants to be seen and the platform you are.
So if you were starting a business from scratch, like if you were starting a new business, what are some of the things that you would do that you didn't do when you started your business earlier?
I don't know what it is that I will do there. Let me tell you why. When I started my business, I registered my website immediately. And I had a good social media presence. Right? Then, so I had a website. Then I learned how to run sponsored ads back in 2012, 2013.
You seem like you were so ready.
So imagine having that knowledge and coming down to post-COVID. So if you ask me, what I have done is to write out what I have done, and for every of my business I am replicating exactly that. There is, I don't think there's anything I wouldn't have done the same way. I think the only thing looking back now might be the way I recruited staff and onboarding staff. I think that's the only thing that with experience I'm realizing, oh, I don't think I did it well, let me fine tune it, right? But when it comes to building a business, I'm going to use the blueprint of what failed and what worked.
Even at that time, you seemed like you knew so much about what you were going into already at the time.
It didn't seem like that when I was failing, though. When I was failing, it didn't look like that. So I think it was from that failure. So like I said before, I had to take stock. What failed? What worked? And the one that worked, why did it work? The one that failed, why did it fail? So if every business, especially startup businesses, can do that, which one is working? Why is it working? Amplify it.
Wow. So there are so many business owners out there that are just starting out, that are struggling. What advice would you give to those kind of business owners out there?
I have one advice, just one. Stop looking at the people who have made it. They struggled too, like you. Stop thinking because you started your beauty brand today, you want to be like NUBAN Beauty in 3 months' time. It's not possible. Give yourself room to grow. Rome wasn't built in a day. Give yourself room to grow. And forgive yourself very fast when you fail.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So we're almost getting to the end of this knowledgeable interview. But one thing I want to ask you is that share with us like one memory from your business that you will never forget. It could be like a milestone. When you hit a milestone, what's like one memory that will forever remain with you?
You're asking me for milestone. Let me tell you what memory I remember. So the other brand I feel is called Stella Makeovers. So I remember the first time I exhibited at Stella Makeovers. I had products of almost 500,000 and I sold only 30,000.
Wow.
I cried myself to sleep. I think I keep going back to that place and that's why I can't feel anything. I remember that so vividly. I cried myself to sleep. How do you go with products of almost 500,000 and sell only 30,000?
Wow.
I cried myself. So whenever someone asks me, that's the only thing I remember. Like before, maybe I will start thinking to remember that one. But you see that particular one, it stands out.
Wow. And how do you keep on going even after failing? Because some people, after that, that's the end.
You see, that's the thing. Yes, true. So I think it's the personality. I think it's the personality. So naturally, some people don't know how to give up. Then some people are like, I couldn't be. That's why it's not everybody that can be a business owner. Not everybody can be a business owner. If you don't like risk, you can be a business owner. It's as simple as that. So naturally, I don't know how to give up. Because look at it this way. I was still a civil servant and I had goods of 500 something thousand, I think, give and take. And I sold 30,000. What am I supposed to do with the rest of the product? What was I supposed to do with that? And that was how, in fact, that's the story of how NUBAN Beauty was born. So this exhibition happened on the 3rd of December. Still had the name. So I already had the products. It still had Stella Makeovers and all that. And when I sold the 30,000 naira thing, I cried myself to sleep. My husband didn't understand, why is she crying? Why in God's name will this woman not just focus on her day job and leave this business alone? He tried to sorry, oh yeah, now, sorry, it's okay, it's okay. But he said, me, I saw the facial expression, like, can you just stop? Face the one that you're doing now. But in the process of crying, I just realized I met, the owner of Econet. So I follow him on Facebook. So that day he did a post, he said, online is the new real estate. That was it for me. I'm like, because at that point I didn't have the shop. What am I supposed to do with these goods? And I went on I started looking for how can I open a website? And I found these people. This was happening around 2 a.m. I don't cry. So I was now pressing my phone. I almost called them by 2 a.m. And I woke up the next day, 7 a.m. I was already calling them. And they said they were in Yaba. I'm like, oh, that's very close. And I want to do my website. They said 30,000, exactly the amount of money I made. I'm like, well, they told me I came and to give the guy the money. So this is the story of how the name NUBAN Beauty came out. So he says, what do you want me to register? I told him. And he said, I'm not going to register that name. It doesn't sound nice. You can't find a nickname. And he sent me away. On the 7th of December, I will never forget. That's why NUBAN Beauty birthday is on the 7th of December. I just woke up, I sat down, I prayed. I said, I need a name. Everything Nigeria was taken. And I needed a name that sounded very African. So if you see it, as in without knowing, you feel the Africa vibe. Everything Nigeria was taking, Nubian was taking. So I was looking at the Nubian. I typed Nubia. Nubian came out. NUBAN. The NUBAN number, the bank NUBAN number came out. I'm like, if I add beauty to the back. And that was how it came out. So NUBAN Beauty was born out of failure.
Thank you so much. I've learned so much. Even from I know that when I want to become a business owner in the future, I'll come back to YouTube and watch this video. So thank you so much. You've been very wonderful all through the process of messaging you and speaking to you. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this. Thank you so much. So guys, that is all I have for you on today's episode of Conversations with Moyo. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. Please tell them to subscribe to my channel.
People should subscribe to Moyo's channel. I mean, they beg you. Subscribe to Moyo's channel, and I'm sure she's going to be having more interesting and engaging guests being here. And it's a privilege to have some people sit and have heart-to-heart talk. It's people you don't really have to, you can't see them, you can't talk to them. So please subscribe to her channel. Me, I'm telling you, she's going to have mothers, people coming to sit on her seats and have these conversations that will change your lives and your businesses.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.